And welcome to On the Money. My name is Cynthia DeFazio, and I'm joined today by Ryan Wheless. He is the founder of Allied Wealth, as well as Matt Stevenson, financial advisor. Gentlemen, how are you? Let me start with you. Ryan, how are you today?
We are doing so great, and Matt Stevenson over here is so happy, Cynthia, because he beat me to the gym this morning.
Well, Matt Stevenson, way to go.
Thank you, Cynthia.
Question is, did you do weights this morning, or were you on the treadmill?
A little bit of everything today.
A little bit of everything. Good, good. I went the other evening, and no one was there. It was awesome.
We're kind of light. They were, 5 and 10 pound weights.
Maybe a little bit more.
He maybe got up to 15.
Well, gentlemen, I love having you both in the studio because I know that you're so passionate about the information that you share with the viewers at home. Obviously, people in the viewing audience, they might be tuning in for the very first time today with a cup of coffee, wondering what we're going to talk about. And Ryan, let's talk about what that is exactly. You're passionate about helping people plan properly for retirement. Why is that?
It is because retirement has changed so much in the last 40 years.
Yeah.
I mean, back in the day, you worked for the company for 35, 40 years, you got the pension, you got the gold watch, then you had Social Security to make up the difference between what your pension didn't cover, your paycheck kind of thing, and then you've got your retirement covered from guaranteed sources. And so with the advent of the 401k, that changed everything. And now the onus of saving for retirement and generating a paycheck in retirement is put on the 401k investor or the employee.
Yeah.
Right? And that's a big change in itself. And then they're left to navigate Social Security and Medicare and investment selection. And do I buy stocks and bonds and mutual funds, or do I buy life insurance? Do I buy annuities? How does something as basic as how does my money actually get to my account when I do retire? How's that income actually come in?
It's overwhelming.
It's beyond overwhelming. Yeah.
I'm wondering how people can keep all of that straight because, like you mentioned, obviously, Ryan, things were so different years ago. Matt, they were like so easy. Remember, people planned their retirement party. There was the big cake, the gold watch, as we've spoke of, and everything was mapped out so easily. But now it seems like it can be really confusing. So I have to ask you, Matt, how do you help people navigate through this process?
Absolutely. So, Cynthia, really that first step when people come to see us is just get to know them. Everybody has their own unique situation, and we don't like to take a cookie cutter approach with our clients. No. And, building a relationship with them, making sure that we can cater to them in the right way and build that roadmap and that vision for them is so important.
Absolutely. And Ryan, I should ask you, what makes Allied Wealth different from many other firms out there? The
biggest difference is our clients didn't lose 50% of their money in 2008, 2009. That's a big difference.
Absolutely.
And then if you look at in the COVID crash, the market was down 34%. We weren't down anywhere near that, right? So that's a big differentiating factor. Beyond that, Cynthia, we're a fee-based firm at Allied Wealth, and Matt and I have a very something that's very near and dear to us. It's like probably the number one principal value of our company. We're fee-based, right? If I can't add value to your situation, your retirement plan, your 401k, there's absolutely 0 point in you paying me fees. And so at Allied Wealth, we have several value adds. Our top 3 are if I can show you how to get a higher rate of return while taking less risk in your portfolio, would I be adding value to our relationship? If I can show you how to do that with paying less in fees, would I be adding value to the relationship? And lastly, if I can show you how to put concepts and strategies together that you can't do on your own or get an E-Trade or a Scottrade, would I be adding value to the relationship? And those are some basic ways we add value and some major differentiating factors about our company.
Absolutely. Matt, I have to ask you, when clients are coming in for the very first time to sit with you, what can they expect to feel?
So, as you can tell just by talking with us, Cynthia, we're a pretty loose group. We like to build those relationships. It's very family oriented.
Yeah.
So we really want our clients to feel at home and comfortable, just like they're sitting on their couch talking to their best friend when they come sit down with us.
I love that. And Ryan, what is your communication style like with your clients as a team once they decide to become a client? How do you keep in touch?
Cynthia, I'm so glad you asked me that question because we built our client service model around this fact.
Okay.
What is the number one reason a client becomes dissatisfied with and leaves a financial advisor?
Lack of communication.
Lack of communication,
Yeah.
right? That is, people think it's return. It's not. It is lack of communication.
Yeah.
That's right.
So we have ways of communicating with our clients on a weekly basis. Every single week, you get an email Sunday morning at 10 o'clock that shows you exactly how your portfolio did that week. Weekly communication. Beyond that, it's quarterly meetings. Beyond that, it's annual meetings. We have a client ambassador program. We're touching our clients at some type of event all 12 months out of the year, because we believe very strongly that communication is the foundation of a good relationship. And on the front of the relationship, we go through a lot of work to get you onboarded to our firm. And once we have you, we love you. You are tremendous value to us. And we know that the number one thing you want from us is good communication, and we provide that to that end.
I love that. Matt, I should also ask you, when someone goes through a major life change, if you will, obviously you're in touch with your clients, as Ryan mentioned, that's so important. How important is it for them to reach out to you first to let you know about what that life change may be, whether it be early retirement or the loss of a spouse?
Absolutely, and it starts before that, Cynthia. I'll give one of the examples of our client. Worked for a major oil and gas company for 30 plus years and had been planning retirement, but wasn't really engaged on the front end in that process with us, but had a big retirement party, the Gold Watch, as you mentioned earlier. And then he called us that following Monday and said, you know, I retired from my company on Friday. I drove to my office just like I normally would today. I'm sitting in the parking garage at my company, and I don't know why I'm here because I no longer work here.
Wow.
And the problem with that is he hadn't taken the time to properly map out that vision for not only the next day, the next week, but you know, those months, years for what he wants to fill his lifestyle with. And that's what we want to be engaged with our clients.
The funnest part of our job. And then we work together to help you fund that vision. Right? But if we can't have a vision, I mean, if your plan is to go home and sit in the lazy boy rocking chair, don't do it. Your health will deteriorate faster than anything, and that's the quickest way into the hospital. So don't do that. Have a vision. What do you see yourself doing? Who are you with? Where are you? You know, who's around you? Right? Visualize what you want to do in your golden years, and then work to fund that vision to that end. And that's exactly what our planning process does.
Absolutely.
I love that, because so very often people are identified by that role they have at work, and so I can relate to people coming in and having that feeling of, oh my gosh, what do I do now, without having a plan in place, without knowing what your passions are and how you want to spend those remaining years. Well, Ryan, I know that you and Matt have a very special offer to present to the viewers at home today. Why don't we talk about what that is and then open the phone lines?
Well, we're offering a portfolio Xray today, and what that is a deep dive into your portfolio from a 10,000-foot view. It's interesting to me the number of folks that come into our office and go through the portfolio Xray, and we show them what their portfolio could lose if we repeated a 2008 or a 2009, if we went through the dot-com crash again, if we went through the COVID crash again. How would your portfolio behave in that environment? And do you have confidence in keeping that portfolio going forward, right? And if you do, great. You know more about your portfolio than you did before you came in, right? If you don't, then we can point you in the right direction and help you make some changes that, again, will help you reduce risk, get a higher rate of return, and pay less in fees.
That sounds perfect. Well, gentlemen, I think this is the perfect time for us to open the phone lines. Indeed. What do you think?
I like it.
To the viewers at home, the phone number to call is on your screen, and that number is 844-944-7555. We know that you have a lot of questions for Ryan and Matt about how to plan your perfect retirement. Perhaps you're just getting started and you need to have that roadmap designed for you. Don't miss the opportunity to take advantage of that complimentary consultation today. Again, the number is 844-944-7555. We have to take a very short commercial break, but when we come back, I want to talk to Ryan and Matt a little bit about taxes in the future and how that may impact your retirement. Stay tuned.
How confident are you in your current financial plan? Do you know with certainty how the recent market volatility will affect your future hopes and dreams? How much are you paying in taxes? And how much are you losing to unnecessary high fees? You didn't work to save this money so that you could spend your time worried in retirement. Now is the time to take charge of your finances so you can feel confident about your future. Call in during the next 30 minutes of today's show only to set up an absolutely complimentary, no obligation, full-blown financial review that will result in your own customized written plan. This is a $999 value that we're giving away complimentary to the first 10 people who respond. We'll start with a full-blown analysis of what you already have. By running a report to untangle how much you are currently paying in fees, how you're allocated for risk, and what it's costing to work with your current advisor. Next, we'll identify your goals. Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? Where do you want to go, and who do you hope to go there with? Is your current financial plan set up to get you there without mishap? Let's design a roadmap to create a financial plan you can follow with confidence. Get the piece that so many people are missing from their retirement. Find out how having a written plan can make a difference to your retirement dreams. Call now to schedule your complimentary, no-obligation, full-blown financial review today.
And welcome back to On the Money. My name is Cynthia DeFazio. I'm joined today by Ryan Wheless and Matt Stevenson of Allied Wealth. Gentlemen, we were laughing coming back from the commercial break because obviously we're having so much fun talking in between the show, in the commercials, if you will. But we were also talking about something very serious before we flipped the topic to something funny. We were talking about taxes because, wow, that is a hot topic right now. People are wondering what's going to happen in the future. We have all of this debt that the nation has, if you will. So, Ryan, I have to ask you, what's happening with taxes right now?
It's a crazy, crazy world we're living in with taxation. There's no doubt in my mind that taxes are going to have to go up in the future. And they're going to do things just beyond just the tax rates going up. Deductions are going to be less. Things you can write off are going to be less, and they're going to be more and more impacted. And what a lot of folks don't realize is your biggest expense in retirement is not healthcare; it's taxes.
Yeah.
So if you have $1 million 401k, Cynthia, how much of that 401k is actually yours?
See, that's true.
And all of it. No, it's not. If you take it all out of that 401k, you're going to be hit with about a 40% tax rate. You just gave $400,000 in taxes to Uncle Sam. You've got $600,000 left.
Yeah.
So all the money you have in your 401k or your IRA, it's not yours.
Yeah.
Right? So a good plan will always speak to taking taking taxes to the equation and trying to get distributions out of your accounts and income in retirement in the most tax efficient way possible. Because if you can reduce taxes, your money in dollars will go further.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you, Ryan. Matt, is this a situation where people should come in and talk a little bit about doing perhaps a Roth conversion?
Absolutely, and that's something that we like to do with our clients several years in advance, because when they get to age 72, they're forced to take money out of their accounts with those required minimum distributions. And so if we can position themselves ahead of time to minimize the amount of taxation that they'll have to pay on those forced distributions later in life, and be able to enjoy tax-free distributions, not only for themselves, but as a legacy for their family, that is super important.
Absolutely. And Ryan, I want to ask you, in case someone in the viewing audience is wondering, can you explain the difference between a Roth contribution and a Roth conversion?
Great question. A Roth contribution is simply money you put into a Roth IRA. It goes into the Roth IRA taxed. Once it's in the Roth IRA, the dollars grow tax-free, and you never pay any taxes when you pull money out of that account again, right? So that's just adding money to a Roth. Roth conversions are the ability to convert your IRA, no matter how big it is, over to a Roth IRA, and there's no limit on how much you can convert these days. So you could literally take $1 million account and convert it over to a Roth IRA. So the difference between a conversion is you start in a Roth account is you start with a Roth account to begin saving in a tax-free manner. If you feel like you have too much money in a IRA or 401k and you want to get some tax-free money out there, you do conversions to move your IRA dollars over to a Roth. That transaction is taxable. You do pay tax on the dollars today, but a lot of people would argue that taxes today are on sale and will be higher in the future, right? So you're paying taxes on money today at lower tax rates, and what that'll do is benefit you in the long run. To help mitigate taxes throughout the next 30, 45 years.
And to that point, Ryan, our good friends at the Congressional Budget Office quantify that today we spend about half of our tax dollars on our basic programs, Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, and to pay the interest on the national debt.
Yeah.
And they tell us that within the next 10 to 15 years, that number may be 80% of every tax dollar that we pay to fund those same 4 programs.
Wow.
And so the government themselves is telling us that tax rates likely need to rise, and significantly so in the future, to be able to fund our basic needs as a country.
Wow. I should also ask you, Ryan, we hear a lot right now about people using life insurance to build tax-free cash value. What are your thoughts on that? Are you hearing anything about these hybrid policies, if you will?
I know a lot about the hybrid policies, and I will tell the folks at home to be very careful.
Okay.
There are some programs out there that are very good, and there's some programs out there that pay financial advisors ridiculous amounts of commissions.
Okay.
I mean, ridiculous. So there's nothing wrong with an advisor getting paid for what they do, but there's some of these programs out there that are just, they're egregious in what they pay the advisor. So be careful with that, right?
Okay.
Because there's only 100 pennies in every dollar. And so if you put a dollar in and the insurance company pays the advisor who sold the policy to you a ton of money, well, there's only so much money left in the account to actually grow and benefit you. So if you're going to look at one of those programs, try to buy one that has what's called an early cash value rider. And what's nice about those is the money you put in is there from day one. You can see it.
Okay.
So you put money into the policy that's been taxed. All right. You get tax-free growth on the money while you're in the policy, and you take the money out via policy loans in the future, and loans are not counted as taxable income. And so that's a great tax reduction strategy that so many people overlook because they don't, conventional financial wisdom says life insurance is bad. We don't need life insurance or cash value life insurance or whole life insurance. And the reality is a lot of that's changed.
Yeah.
And a lot of these programs are out there available to people to have the ability to put some money into a tax-free bucket and draw it out tax-free in the future. And if that's something that the folks at home are curious about, let us know when you guys come in and take advantage of the Portfolio Xray, and we can help show you what those things look like and find out if it's for you.
Thank you so much. Matt, what happens when someone is going into the retirement years and they're not factoring in taxes as something that they should be concerned about? Have you had that happen recently with someone who's calling in for the first time?
It happens all the time, Cynthia. And really, taxes, it's a ticking time bomb in retirement, especially for those that have done very well in saving and planning for their golden years, because taxes will likely rise significantly in the future, as we've just discussed. And when people get into their late 60s, 70s, they may not be paying 15, 20 cents on every dollar that they have to take out. That may be 30 or 40% in taxation. And so again, going back to things to position themselves to be tax efficient for the next 20 to 30 years to protect themselves and their family. That's one of the most important things that we do.
And some year-end stuff's important too, Cynthia, because we have a strategy in our office called Bump the Bracket, right? So if I can keep you in the 12% tax bracket and still convert $25,000 of money, IRA money to Roth money, let's do that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because we're paying 12% taxes versus what might be 25% taxes in the future.
Absolutely.
So every year, get with your advisor, and we do it with our clients. We call it bumping the bracket, and we try to get as much out of the IRA over to a Roth IRA and keep them the same tax rate.
Okay, all right. Is there a number one strategy that people can use to lower their tax burden, Brian? Any number one strategies?
So we're taught to put money into a 401k because we get a tax deduction.
Yeah.
If you're 5 years out from retirement, stop putting too much money in your 401k, right?
Okay.
Take advantage of the company match. That's free money. But build a war chest or a nest egg outside of the 401k account. And the reason why is every dollar that comes out of a 401k is 100% taxable, right? So if you need a dishwasher in retirement and you have to pull it out of an IRA, you have to pay tax on the distribution.
Yeah.
Well, that dishwasher just costs you 20% more or 30% more, whatever it is.
Yeah.
If you have a bucket of funds over here that are non-taxable dollars, and we can draw from those to fix the dishwasher, we can still get a good deal, right? I'm not paying 20% more in tax on my dishwasher because I was smart and planned. I've got a tax-free bucket over here or non-taxable bucket, right? And the other thing too is, like, if you are, a lot of folks don't realize that your Social Security is taxable, right? Your Social Security is taxable at your highest marginal rate. So if you go from 12% to 24%, all 85% of your Social Security that's taxable is taxed at 24%. And people don't know that, right? So if you're kind of bumping up on that year end and you've got this tax efficient money over here to draw from, you can say, hey, I don't want any more IRA distributions. Let's take from the tax-free bucket or non-taxable bucket, and that way I'm not adding to my additional income and bumping my Social Security tax from 12 to 24%.
That's amazing. Well, gentlemen, this is the perfect time for us to reopen the phone lines. Would you agree?
Absolutely.
All right. To the viewers at home, the phone number to call is on your screen. That number is 844-944-7555. We know that you have a lot of questions about how to plan your perfect retirement, perhaps questions about taxes in retirement. Ryan and Matt have the answers for you. All you have to do today is call in 844-944-7555. They are offering you a complimentary consultation, a portfolio review, if you will. Let them take a look at what your goals and dreams are for retirement, and they will design a plan that suits your needs. Again, that number is 844-944-7555. We have to take a very short commercial break. When we come back, I'm going to talk to Ryan and Matt about what it feels like when you come to the office for the first time. We'll be right back.
As a good saver, you've been putting away money during your working years. Studies find that the biggest fear of retirees is running out of money. Market volatility isn't just the downward movement of stock prices, it's the size and frequency of change. The more dramatic the ups and downs, the higher the volatility. This can put savers who are newly retired or a few years away from being retired at greater risk. Today's generation of retirees is not receiving traditional pensions as our parents or grandparents did. Instead, we have retirement accounts such as 401ks or 403bs. These accounts typically expose your money to market risk. The last thing you want right before retirement is to lose a portion of the money you need for income. But how do you turn these accounts into a retirement income? Is it safe to keep all your retirement money sitting in the stock market? The last thing you want is to lose a portion of the money you need for income due to market loss. By working with a financial professional, you can learn how to turn a portion of your savings into an income stream for life and income for the life of your spouse if you're married. We all have moments in our lives when we wish we had taken action sooner. Don't let procrastination reign on your retirement parade. Act now before it's too late. Please call our office to set up your no-cost, no-obligation retirement income review today.
And welcome back to On the Money. My name is Cynthia DeFazio, and I'm joined today by Ryan Wheless and Matt Stevenson of Allied Wealth. Well, gentlemen, obviously a great show we're having today, talking about such an important topic, planning properly for retirement. We've talked about how the face of retirement has changed, and also we've talked about taxes. But I want to talk to you a little bit further in detail about what it feels like, Ryan, when someone comes into the office for the first time, because obviously you had a vision when you created Allied Wealth. You wanted something that was going to be very unique and not cookie cutter. So let's talk about what it feels like.
I can promise you it's different in the sense that we don't have offices at Allied Wealth. So everybody sits in a bullpen. We can all hear each other. We feed off each other. And what that does is create a team that's very, very connected and very, very well oiled. And so, you know, if one of Matt's clients calls in and I'm available, I just pick up the phone. Matt's in the meeting right now. Says, Ryan, how can I help you? You know, and that's how we work together, right? So we don't have, you know, we always tell the clients that the feeling you will get is that Ryan Wheless may be your primary advisor, but so is Matt, right? So is Peter, so is Parker. So we have other people on the team, and we can kind of act as one unit in unison to make sure our clients are getting the best experience and great communication.
Okay, excellent. And obviously, Matt, when someone's coming in for the very first time, would there be a list of documents that they would want to bring with them, or how does that work?
Yeah, so we take that part of the process very seriously because we want to provide the best experience possible for our clients to make sure that they can enact on that vision that they have for themselves for the next 20 to 30 years. So some things about, you know, maybe they have a 401k plan, maybe existing IRAs, after-tax accounts that they've saved into over the years, information about their Social Security benefits, maybe they have a pension. All of that would be extremely helpful to help detail a vision for that plan in a few different scenarios to see what might fit them best.
And and folks, you hear that, don't think that you've got to go get all this stuff together. It's helpful to have, but we've had people come in the office with a shoebox, you know, and dump it on the desk. You're like, awesome, we're going to get this figured out for you today, and you're going to love us when you leave, right? But don't you know, let gathering that stuff be a barrier to entry to come see us. Come see us. We'll help you. And if you don't know where to get all this stuff together, we've got people on the team that know how to bird dog money. They'll go find that pension you had from that job back in 1978, you know, or that 401k you left from your job 3 jobs ago. Where's that money at? We'll help you find it, help you get on the right path.
Yeah. Well, Ryan, you just brought up something very important, obviously, people that come in with a shoebox of stuff, because obviously that shoebox of stuff can be what they're grabbing from the mailbox, those statements. So let's talk about the difference between having a statement in hand and a well-constructed holistic retirement plan.
Well, that's a great question, because a statement in hand is not a retirement plan.
Yeah.
It's an investment account, and that statement should tell you how much money you have in that account, what your fees are, what your returns are, and how the account's performing. But that's just one piece, right? We've got to look at overall Social Security income, where that's going to come from. If you don't have a pension, how can we create one for you if you want one, right? If your income needs are $8,000 a month, how do we generate that with what you have to work with? And the whole goal of doing all this that we do, by the way, is helping you live the richest life possible that you can in your golden years, because that's what you work for.
Yeah.
That's what the folks at home work for. They've earned that right to do that, and help them do that. We do it at Allied Wealth. And the last thing I'll say is that when you get on this path, and you get off of the I've got some stuff that I'm just kind of throwing against the wall and hope it sticks,
Yeah.
and you get to a written comprehensive financial plan that has a success rate on it, and we can review that success rate with you just by logging into your accounts and going click. Oh, your account was down 2% last week because the market was down 5%. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Sorry that happened, but here's the reality. Your success rate hasn't changed at all. You're just fine.
Yeah.
All right, so just hang in there and stay with us, right? And we do that with our clients and our prospective clients. They really get a sense of confidence. They have confidence in their plan. That's very important.
Yeah, so basically you're giving them peace of mind that they're able to sleep well at night, correct, Matt?
And that's really the business we're in, is the peace of mind business, and really helping people answer the central question that we hear all the time, which is, how do I make it the next 20 to 30 years without a paycheck and not run out of money in the process?
Yeah. Well, obviously, Ryan, we have about a minute and a half left of the show this week. Any final words of wisdom and advice to give to the viewers at home?
Well, yeah, we've talked about a lot of things on the show today, and if any of these things have piqued your interest, pick up the phone and call us. The number is 844-944-7555. Matt and I are the same people on this show as we are in the office, and we really want to help you get on the right track and right path. So to do that, all you have to do is take advantage of the complementary portfolio Xray, and we're going to get into the nitty-gritty of your portfolio. For instance, Cynthia, you talked about the statement, right?
Yeah.
Well, and that statement of accounts, do you know what that portfolio would do, those investments would do if the market crashed tomorrow? Do you have any idea? And so many people don't have a clue, and they don't even know how to check to see what their drawdown risk is, what their standard deviation in their portfolio is. Are there any hidden fees, right? Where are the gotchas in my current portfolio?
Yeah.
And I always ask, do you have enough confidence, folks at home? Do you have enough confidence in your current portfolio to seek a second opinion? The answer to that question should be yes. So pick up the phone and call us, 844-944-7555.
Ryan, thank you so much. Matt, thank you so much. To the viewers at home, most specifically, thank you for spending time with us. That number to call is 844-944-7555. Any questions about planning for your perfect retirement? Ryan and Matt have the answers for you. Be safe, be happy, be blessed, and we'll see you back 1 week from today.